नमस्कार, वेलकम टू कुंडली कंसल्ट। कुंडली कंसल्ट में एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है। Some time back, I had put a message on my Telegram channel and on my Twitter also, which basically said that what I had predicted in for 2021 about financial turmoil, the start button has been pressed. And I also posted a message on the Telegram asking people what should be my next video be on. I received a lot of messages about what people want to hear, but an overwhelming of them talked about asking me to make a video on the financial situation or financial condition and finances. So what I basically understood is money is important for life, and a lot of people want to know how to look, what is going to be the status of money in their life. So as promised, since most of you asked this, I am making this video on the financial situation. Subsequently, I'll make videos on some of the other things which people have also requested. But let's talk about finance in this video. And my request is, please watch till the end of this video, because what I'm going to talk about little bit is not only just financial turmoil which I predicted for 2021, but more importantly, how to look for finances in your own horoscope. And that, I guess, is more critical to people's life. So let's first start on some small basic understanding of astrology. And without that, possibly, you cannot make out. So there is something called a Lagna Kundli or a horoscope or D1, where we talk of an ascendant based horoscope, not a Chandra Lagna or a Rashi based horoscope. We are talking about ascendant or Lagna or D1 horoscope. So let's be very clear about it. Now, for your finances, there are 4 houses if you look into your personal horoscope in D1 or Lagna chart, which are very important. First is the second house. Why the second house? The second house determines your bank balances, the liquidity flow through your hand, through your bank balances. So it is all about liquid cash. How much you are going to have or how much are you going to earn, which is going to be in liquid form in cash and bank balances that will go through your hand. So please remember, in this video I'm talking about your earning. I'm not talking about your expenses. So if a person has low income but his second house is very good and his 12th house, which is his expenses, is controlled situation, he may still land up with a lot of liquidity in his hand, a lot of bank balances in his hand. So therefore, your financial condition is first, number one, dependent or is shown by your second house. Now, I cannot make all the complicated situation in this small video, but it also means that if your second house condition is bad and your second house lord is good, it's quite possible that you will make ultimately bank balances. So when I'm talking of second house, I'm talking about the house and the house lord's condition also. Second is the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of desires, your material gains and losses, and therefore your earnings. So if your 11th house or its house lord is not good, then your earning capacity, your gains that you can make from anywhere gets severely restricted. The third house is the ninth house. Ninth house is house of Jupiter, house of your guru, house of spiritualism, but it is also the Kal Purush Kundali owner of that ninth house is Jupiter, which is finances. So ninth house denotes your overall financial condition. So these three houses, the second house, the 11th house, and the ninth house, and their lords, really determine what will be your overall financial condition in this life. It determines not only the money that you're going to make or the wealth that you're going to create, but whether in that creation, whether you will have ups and downs or not, or whether you will make a lot of money and wealth and then lose it in whichever format it may be, that can be determined. So therefore, the condition of these three houses and these house lords and whichever planets are sitting there determine ultimately your overall wealth, money and finances, and the route through which you will achieve that or the route through which you will ultimately destroy it, whichever be the case. Now, a lot of you, from whatever messages I got, I understand are into daily trading in stock market. Now, when you are in daily trading, and I'm not talking of long-term investments, which is determined by these three house flows, but if you are a short-term trader, day-to-day trading or for a very short horizon, and that's what seemed to be a lot of people have got trapped or making money or losing money. For that, the fifth house is very important. Fifth house is the house to see your speculation, and stock market for short term is nothing but speculation. So if your fifth house or fifth house lord is not good, or the planets posted there are not good, the connections are not good, you will not make money in short-term trading. For example, if your fifth house is Capricorn or Makar house there, then it is very difficult for you to make money on short-term trade. It's very clear about that. So your personal horoscope, therefore, also determines not only, as I said, how much wealth and money you're going to make or it's going to flow through your hand and the pattern of it, but it also shows by the fifth house whether you will be good enough to make money in these kind of speculations or short-term trading. One more thing, since I've touched on this trading. Have you ever bothered to look at the timing of your exact trade? So when I'm saying fifth house, the exact point in time when you are doing trading or you are putting your money on trade, you're pressing the buy or the sell button, that very precise point has a panchang or a horoscope of that particular time, irrespective of anybody. That's a common horoscope of that time. Now in that time, if the fifth house lord or the nakshatra of the fifth house lord is not well connected or not well placed, 9% of the time, unless your own fifth house is very, very strong, you are going to lose money in that trade. Take it in writing from me. It doesn't matter whether that day the market goes up or down. The market overall may be, making 300 points up move. But in that particular time when you are making, suppose even in that uptrend, you are taking a short trade, and the fifth house lord and the nakshatra of the fifth house, the connection is very good at that point in time. You will make money in that trade, provided it remains a short term trade only, a day trade only, and you do not get greedy enough. So the market will give you an opportunity to make money, be positive on that trade if at that point in trade in the Panchang, the fifth house lord and the nakshatra of the fifth house lord is in a very good position. So these are the things which become very important if you are in the trading, because a lot of people who have written to me seem to be in trading and regular trading. So you have to see from your horoscope, does money flow and build a positive pattern in your life to make that money, and whether that money can come from your stock market trading or any form of speculation. Does it have that fifth hand connection? And finally, that point in time when you are making that, putting that money. So all these become very important, and I've tried to tell you, though a lot of you or most of you feel it is very complicated, but believe me, I have told you in a very, very short way. Because to all this I have said, there can be so many exceptions. If there are certain combinations, it can show that you will not have any wealth, but it may show that ultimately, after going through some drudgery or some severe financial crisis, then you are going to make money, and from there. So those are very, it is based on individual horoscope. But I have told you very briefly how to look for your financial condition. Look at your second house, look at your ninth house, look at your 11th house. For short term speculation, for short term trading, for something which gives you a quick return, kind of a day kind of a thing, day trading, the moment of trading and the fifth house position of that moment as well as your fifth house becomes very important. Now let me just touch a little bit about the overall financial situation. Yes, I once again confirm that the start button for the financial turmoil for year 2021 has been pressed. But let me clarify, what do I mean by this? I am talking of financial turmoil. It's not stock market turmoil. And when I say that, what it basically means is, and I assume you would also understand, that if there is a financial turmoil, ultimately it's going to hit the stock market also. So when I talk of financial turmoil, I am not talking of stock market in specific, but it is a natural corollary of the financial turmoil. So finances can mean banking system. Financial turmoil can also mean what you saw for one day, the NSE, entire NSE got down. It simply did not work that day, and it was restarted after 3:30, and then you saw what chaos happened in next 1 hour, how the prices went from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, whatever that the timing was. That's also a part of financial turmoil. That will make people look into the system and processes. That's what they're supposed to be in this period. The financial turmoil is supposed to bring a relook at systems and financial processes globally. You heard the talk about bond market yields going up. This is also a kind of, a start of a financial turmoil. So that's one thing. When I'm talking of financial turmoil, I am talking of an overall financial system and processes, and therefore stock markets naturally will get affected. Number two, it's for the period 2021. So you will see those kind of turmoils happening over a period in time. It does not mean every day things will happen. And there will be time when things will appear very rosy. And that's what, I received messages a lot of time, including, the one in last 1 or 2 days, that, the market seems to be hitting very high in the US. S&P is again hitting high. Now what? Well, while overall you will see a financial turmoil, each country will have its own chart. So therefore the timings will differ, and there may be some countries' charts so strong that it does not get affected badly. But yes, broadly talking of Indian market, US market is going to get affected. So it's not going to be an everyday affair. And as I said, brief periods, things may appear very rosy because those are methods of creating disillusion. To give you an example, early May, Jupiter, which is a karak of financial system, moves out of Capricorn, enters into Aquarius. While classics, if you read, both Capricorn, that is Makar, and Aquarius, Kumbh, are considered owned by Shani. But what I consider in my astrological work and research is that Kumbh is owned by Rahu. Rahu is delusion. So as soon as in first week or now, you may have even seen, starting in last 2-3 days, as Jupiter is towards end of its Makar and entering Kumbh, you will get these flashes, you will get this period when things will look very positive. Why? Because one, Jupiter has moved out of restriction of Makar, where it is severely restricted, and it enters Kumbh, which is owned by Rahu, and therefore gives you illusions. And why I am so confident in saying that the financial turmoil will happen, just wait for it, because between now and November, while Jupiter enters Kumbh Rashi, which gives it freedom of restriction, gives you in Rahu's illusion, and therefore can create big upwaves in all financial system that everything is looking rosy. But somewhere around in June, it starts retrograde, which means it starts a backward motion. And in September, it enters back Makar. A retrograde planet is supposed, in my astrological understanding, completes what has been pending, left behind. So therefore, this is not a clean run of Rahu into transit into Kumbh. It comes back into Capricorn. And therefore, it means that in between there will be periods of lull, in between there will be periods of illusion. But things will happen, the turmoil will happen. I hope a lot of people who have written to me to make my video on finances and on this position going on based on my earlier comments on my Telegram channel and Twitter would get the clarification. Finally, one more request. Do subscribe if you're watching this video. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Do subscribe to my Telegram channel. I'm far more interactive in Telegram and now in Twitter and also, where I update on a lot of things on astrology. Astrology is just not about only markets, which I actually do a lot less. Sometime in future months, I would also put up my own research, which would give you an idea of what are the periods of, a few days or maybe at best a few weeks when the markets are very volatile. You would have heard people saying that in 10 years, if the stock market or the markets move up, 4 times or 5 times, in that 10 years, the actual movement has been in only 3-4 months, or in every year only in 1 or 2 months, or few brief periods. Why does that happen? You will not find that in any astrological book, because some people may have done that research. I am not aware of it. But someday in next few months, I would probably reveal that in my Telegram channel first. So do subscribe to my Telegram channel and my YouTube channel to continue to get my updates on various aspects of astrology. Do comment, do let me know what all do you want to hear about. Thank you. Namaskar.